technology is so high, right?
Right.
So if you shoot somebody, you go to jail forever. So the kids, you don't want to go to jail forever, right? So they got this new thing out there. People sell them all the time. They got this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS, and then they shoot you with it.
Oh,
so
well, that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
Yeah.
An Eazy-E thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay.
You hit them with the needle with the AIDS blood and they die slow. That's an Eazy-E thing. These aren't the words of some anonymous conspiracy theorist. This was said on live television by Suge Knight, the man who wanted Eazy dead more than anyone. Eazy-E, Eric Wright, the man who put Compton on the map and personally wrote the blueprint for gangsta rap. His empire, Ruthless Records, was at its peak. And then, in the spring of 1995, it all came crashing down in an impossibly short time. From a seemingly healthy man to a corpse in just 29 days. Today, we explore the dark side of hip-hop history. Did the Godfather of Gangsta Rap truly succumb to a virus, or was he the victim of the most perfect murder in music history? Stay until the end, because the fourth theory, the one about Tomica Wright, hides details that are still whispered in Compton only in hushed tones. It all began in February '95. Eazy, the personification of street toughness, started having trouble breathing. He thought it was asthma. On February 24th, he walked into Cedars-Sinai Hospital on his own 2 feet. 10 days later, he announced he had AIDS. Just 10 days after that, Eazy-E was pronounced dead. But what happened within those walls resembles a spy thriller rather than medical treatment. Friends describe the atmosphere as prison-like. Jerry Heller, the man who built everything with Eazy, claimed security wouldn't even let him get close. Why? What were they afraid Eazy might say? While he lay hooked up to machines, something bizarre occurred. A wedding. Just 12 days before his death, in a state of total exhaustion, Eazy married Tomica Wright. Witnesses say he could barely hold the pen as he rushed to sign papers that would completely shift the ownership of his multi-million-dollar empire. But we'll talk more about that bizarre moment and the will in our fourth theory. And here we hit the medical mystery. Think back to another LA icon. Magic Johnson announced he was HIV positive in 1991, 4 years before Eazy. Magic is still alive and well today as you watch this video. Official medicine offers an explanation. Magic Johnson caught the HIV virus early and began aggressive therapy. On the other hand, Eazy didn't even know he was sick for years. By the time he was admitted, the virus had already mutated into advanced AIDS. His immune system was completely destroyed, and the actual cause of death was severe pneumonia that his body simply couldn't fight. However, on the streets of Compton, medical records don't mean much. People wondered, how did a man with millions of dollars and access to the best doctors in the world burn out in just a month, while Magic lives for decades? Was the virus natural, or was it helped to become lethal? This is the theory most hip-hop fans consider the most likely. The rivalry between Eazy-E and Suge Knight is legendary. Suge kidnapped Dr. Dre from Ruthless Records, allegedly using baseball bats and threats to force Eazy to sign the release papers. Eazy never forgave him, brutally mocking him in his later tracks. The theory suggests that Suge Knight, a man known for violence and ruthlessness, decided to get rid of Eazy permanently, but in a way that wouldn't lead directly back to him. Years later, in 2003, Suge Knight appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Kimmel, playing into Suge's dangerous reputation, was actually wearing a bulletproof vest during the interview. As they joked about safety, Suge leaned back with a cigar and said something that chilled the audience to the bone. He told Kimmel that shooting people was out of style because it leads to prison. He then said, "They got this new technology. You hit them with the needle with the AIDS blood, and they die slow. That's an Eazy-E thing. You know what I mean?" This statement made on live TV was a confession to many. Did Suge, through his gang connections or inside the hospital itself, order a concentrated dose of the virus to be injected into Eazy while he was hospitalized for asthma? It would explain the incredible speed at which the disease progressed. Hold on a second. Tell me in the comments. Do you believe Suge Knight was crazy enough to admit this on TV? Or was it just his sick way of bragging about someone else's tragedy? I'm reading your replies right now. The second theory focuses on the money. Jerry Heller was accused by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube of stealing money from N.W.A. through complicated contracts. Eazy defended Heller for a long time, but toward the end of Eazy's life, rumors surfaced that he too had begun to doubt his manager. Eazy was allegedly planning to fire Heller and initiate an audit of Ruthless Records. Heller was powerful and well-connected, but without Eazy, Ruthless would collapse and his role would vanish. The conspiracy suggests that Heller, knowing he was about to lose control of a multi-million-dollar empire, had a motive to remove Eazy before he could sign the termination papers. Did Heller, using his resources, ensure the diagnosis was missed or the treatment sabotaged? Though Heller was never officially charged and maintained his innocence until his death, the suspicion remains. Many believe Eazy was a victim of corporate greed. We must remember the context of the time. N.W.A. was the world's most dangerous group. Their song, "The Police," shook the foundations of the American system. The FBI sent an official warning letter to Ruthless Records. The group was under constant surveillance. Eazy-E was a black man from Compton, a former drug dealer who became a multi-millionaire and the spokesperson for the rage of an entire generation. He was becoming too influential. Some believe the U.S. government, specifically the FBI or CIA, saw Eazy as a threat to national security. The theory of a state-sponsored assassination is not new in hip-hop. Think of the story surrounding Tupac. Proponents of this theory claim Eazy-E was eliminated to prevent him from becoming a political factor, and that AIDS was used as the perfect weapon. At the time, it was viewed as a disease affecting undesirable groups. Did the government have access to technology to trigger such a rapid death? It remains a question of paranoia, but also of justified skepticism toward institutions of power. Finally, we come to the most intimate and perhaps most tragic theory. It focuses on Tomica Wright. Remember that hospital room wedding? Eazy-E left behind 11 children with 8 different women. However, the will he signed on his deathbed left everything exclusively to Tomica, completely cutting out his blood relatives and former partners from control over Ruthless Records. Former Ruthless associates like Bone Thugs and Harmony have openly spoken about doubting the validity of that will. Did Tomica Wright, aware that Eazy was dying, exploit his weakness to secure her financial future? Some go as far as to suspect she knew about his illness before he did, or that she somehow contributed to his rapid decline to speed up the takeover. Tomica has always denied these allegations, but the fact that she went from an unknown woman to one of the most powerful figures in the hip-hop industry overnight leaves room for serious doubt. Eazy's death left a massive void in Los Angeles. His funeral was a massive event. Thousands of fans took to the streets of Compton to say goodbye to their hero. Bone Thugs and Harmony dedicated their global hit, The Crossroads, to him, which became an anthem of mourning for a generation. But the doubts didn't disappear with the burial. His family never fully accepted the official version. Eazy's son, Eric Wright Jr., who bears a striking resemblance to his father, has publicly stated multiple times that he believes his father was murdered. He claimed there were too many strange things happening in the hospital, and that the diagnosis simply doesn't hold water. Eazy-E's death was the end of an era, the era of Ruthless Records, the era of raw street rap that became mainstream. Eazy-E wasn't just a rapper, he was a symbol. The Godfather who gave a voice to the streets of Compton when no one else wanted to listen. His influence is felt in every note of gangsta rap recorded after him, regardless of what you believe, whether it was a tragic illness that took a young life too soon, or a dark conspiracy motivated by rivalry, money, or power. The fact remains unchanged. Hip-hop lost its heart that March in 1995. His death is a mystery, but his life is a legend that will never die. Rest in peace, Eazy. What do you think? Which theory sounds most likely to you? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching the Hip Hop Vibes channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.